I hope people know that when I'm like super criticizing the Democratic Party, again, from obviously what I was saying, you would kind of get the context that I'm also against the Republican Party.
Yeah.
I think that's very clear.
I mean, we need to start talking about if the podcast is going to do an official endorsement or not.
It's definitely not. Because I'm going to say let's endorse some
random guy nobody's heard of.
Hey, man, what is that
dozens of us.
Hey, wow.
His
Wow.
family knows who he is.
That's not cool, Maher. All right.
Yeah. So what else have you guys been up to? We haven't released an episode in a while. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's the off season, man. Everyone knows it's the end of summer. We always take about a month off.
Season,
Yeah. So
Some of our Najus are out of town. Some of our Mahers are.
yeah,
You weren't out of town,
I wasn't. No.
so
What's my excuse?
yeah.
I don't know.
What's your excuse, Bubber?
I don't think
I
I,
don't
said
have
I
one.
couldn't make it at any point.
I mean, the recording equipment is a Maher. I mean, Naju. So
yeah.
that's our excuse.
And it's just a
Naju.
bunch of shit. You don't want to carry it around, really. But we
Also,
have
yeah,
before.
Naju hasn't not provided it for us.
Oh.
Anyway, I hope this is super interesting for our listeners.
No, I always.
Yeah,
make
with
it
this, I'm
interesting.
gonna cut all this.
No.
It's like 2 minutes of us just talking
Yeah, just
about
let
what we
let
did.
Maher cut it.
What do you mean? Why would I?
There might be funny moments in there.
There was not. We didn't say anything.
Just
You
let Maher
laughed.
cut it.
You laughed at
We
Buddy, I laugh at your stupid shit all the time. It's not funny.
Yes, welcome to our
It doesn't mean it's
podcast.
funny.
I'm laughing at you, not with you.
I mean, we can go into what's up?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really doing anything.
That's enthralling.
Yeah. Let me see. I watched some soccer. I watched a bit of sports.
Everton won today.
Did you watch
Yeah.
any tennis?
Whoa.
with Jane?
Yeah, I've been watching tennis. I watched Arsenal.
Dude,
and
that girl's
Tottenham.
15 years old. What the fuck?
Oh yeah.
How's that legal?
That is pretty
That's child
crazy.
labor laws.
I'm sure there's some
Yeah, no,
some
obviously.
technicality
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
Oh, is this gonna?
Like you
Issue?
can have singers that are like young, right? Obviously,
and movie
Well,
stars.
also-
and actors, yeah. et cetera.
Also, there are children that work, and it's legal.
I guess, yeah. I mean, like there's
Um,
the little sandwich shop around my corner. You know, the daughter of the woman is there always, and sometimes she
Illegally.
takes orders.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like if it's a family business or something.
Yeah, if you guys have seen Bob's Burgers,
Oh,
there's
do they
there's
talk
some
about that?
exception for. I'm sure also for like farming and stuff like that. You can force your kids to milk the cow or whatever.
What about when you force your kid to like fix your compuper because you mess something up? Is that child labor laws?
Yeah, except I'm 32 or
Yeah.
30. How old am I? I'm
34,
still
you
32.
should-
All right.
yeah, and
Although I just got the closest I've ever gotten to Ice
Getting
Cube and,
Oh.
and Snoop Dogg and LeBron James
yeah, Najee was kicking.
And
it with-
LL Cool J.
and
LL
LL
Cool J was there too.
Yeah.
Even though nobody particularly seemed to want him to be.
He had like 2 bodyguards rolling.
Were they into it? Was it a big crowd? Was that Staples Center?
That's
or
what
what?
I was thinking. It was like 5,000
1,000?
maybe.
Staples Center.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe less.
Well, we'll tell the audience
yeah,
what we're
tell 'em
talking
what you're
about.
talking
Yeah, Big Three. It's a basketball league for retired NBA players. And it was the championship was at the Staples Center this morning. And I got to see my old Golden State buddy Steven Jackson
Who's playing?
play. He got balled up by Joe Johnson.
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
Yeah.
I don't know who any of these
I
people
have, I
are.
have some questions though. Do they have like geography-based teams, and do they like?
I don't know about geography. They definitely have different teams that I don't know about like how their scheduling works and like
They
where
might
they
do a
play and
touring
stuff.
thing?
Yeah, I think that might be more.
They
what
just
it is.
it's the same teams. They just tour around the country.
Yeah. I mean, there's like 8 teams or something maybe.
Oh,
or-
okay.
I don't know exactly how many.
Geography based.
I don't think there's geography based.
Was there subs?
Yeah, there's subs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to 50, first to 50.
And full court,
half court.
half court,
Half court. There's a
regulation
4-point shot.
side or whatever. There is. That's
Yeah,
kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really silly actually.
How thick were the floorboards?
Bob's like, how regulation was this? What else is there? is there are blocking fouls called or no?
Yeah, no, everything is
Yeah,
called.
just regular rules.
Yeah. It's only 1 free throw per shooting foul.
Oh.
And apparently if you get
Really? That's kind of weird.
yeah.
And there's and ones.
yeah, I think so. There was a weird thing that I didn't end up seeing, but apparently the guy behind me, sitting right behind us, was like talking the whole time, like talking like he was talking to the players. Like that shit, you can't shoot that, man. Or like, oh, you gotta fucking follow through, or like, what are you doing? But he was saying,
let me guess, it was LeVar Ball or
I don't know who that is.
He was saying that the rule was that if you get fouled on a 3, you can just take a free 3 for your foul shot.
Really?
Yeah. Which is like, I didn't see it happen, but
that's not a bad rule. If you get fouled, maybe you get just a free shot from the spot.
Yeah.
But it could be like a running foul or something, or maybe a non-shooting foul. What do you do?
Yeah, no, like that wouldn't make any sense unless it's like just a spot up shot, right?
Dude, maybe that guy was like,
yeah.
Maybe that guy was doing like commentary for a basketball podcast he does.
No, that would be funny. He's like on fucking TikTok and shit, just talking with his thing recorded.
TikTok, oh god.
I always thought that if you could redesign basketball, you'd probably want to do something about how fouls are used to like stop the clock late in games.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how you would do it.
Also, 4-point shots. You guys heard about North Korea's basketball league?
Vaguely.
A dunk is 4 points or something like that.
That's pretty dumb.
Why?
Everybody's
dude,
just gonna like.
Well, if you're
get the biggest dudes in the middle of the court.
If you're in a country where the population is generally shorter, especially the ones that lived through a famine in the early 90s, I guess you could put that.
See, the thing though is I never know whether to believe the things I read about North Korea, so I don't even know if that's true, Bob.
Just let me tell you about. No, it happened, dude.
According
it wasn't
to
easy.
what, like South Korean tabloid papers or something?
No, according to the fact that
the fucking gossip
that their second largest trading partner, maybe largest, I don't know, like the Soviet Union collapsed, and they were just more isolated than ever, and there was a famine, and they probably got help.
The famine. I'm talking about the basketball league.
Oh my god, dude, are you serious? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm saying I don't know what to believe as far as like basketball league or.
I'm pretty sure that part is like not
disinformation.
Yeah. Like that part, nobody.
It's not like disagreed upon.
Yeah, nobody's disagreeing about that. I'm pretty sure you can go online. You can go to like North Korea
basketball league,
our
CIA website, dude.
These are our rules, dude. It's not necessarily. I didn't say it as a negative thing, by the way. I think the North Korean way of basketball is the best way of basketball, by the
way. Big Three should adopt the DPRK rules.
They get a card.
They changed, within our lifetime. I forgot when, but they did change. You can't foul off ball at the end of game situations, which is like they would just go to Shaq and foul Shaq.
Yeah. I guess that was probably a good rule change.
Step in the right direction or something.
They could do like I feel like. Do you know how the hockey rule is? It's actually like I think a decent.
Tell me.
Way to do it is that a foul or whatever they call it, I think it's a foul or a penalty, doesn't stop the play. You continue to play, but if you lose possession, the foul gets basically enforced from that point on. So
you get soccer kind of does that too, right? To a certain extent, not all fouls, not all penalties.
Yeah, a little bit.
But some of them.
But they'll not like even eventually call it if you like just gain the advantage after. They just won't call the free kick. Whereas in hockey, as soon as you lose possession, the penalty is basically enforced. But
so unless you score,
and if you score, then the penalty is not enforced.
Right.
Which is like if you did that in basketball, that would basically completely get rid of that whole strategy.
Absolutely, man. That fouling as a strategy thing or as a part of the game thing, I think, is one of the things I hate about basketball.
It's kind of this.
It's like a regular part of the game. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been regulated that way, and it hasn't been changed for a long time for sure.
A foul should be like an actual foul, man. It should be like this is something you shouldn't be doing.
Not a tactical thing.
Yeah.
But it's an exploit in the rules of the game, and
but it's like such a part of the game.
It's gone on
now.
Long enough without being corrected that basically you can't correct it at this point.
Yeah.
Well, you could.
Yeah, but there would be backlash, and
it would just be so unpopular.
That's fine. You should do what they did
wants.
In North Korea when there was backlash against the rules.
All right, maybe we got to look up these rules in North Korea.
No, but when people started complaining about the basketball rules, those people were gone.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, man. I don't want to make light of that.
That's just Bobber reading South Korean tabloids.
Yeah. Yeah, Maher, since when are you fucking...
No, I think I read something somewhere about
absolutely,
the whole
dude, a lot of it.
Kim Jong-un,
Dennis Rodman.
No, supposedly they say that he played golf the first time and he hit 18 holes in one or whatever.
Kim Jong-il.
Oh yeah, of course he did.
That whole story was made up.
Dude, absolutely. There's a huge...
nobody ever claimed that. That was just the claim of the claim was fake.
Gotcha.
Right. There's absolutely huge
disinformation.
Propaganda, disinformation that gets churned out, and a lot of it comes through other countries like South Korea. Yeah. For sure, that exists, and stuff they would say about stuff they would say about Castro and Cuba and things like that too. For sure, and stuff they're saying about Venezuela now.
It's all. I mean,
not all of it, dude, but that.
And I'm sure some of it that even has a grain of truth is exaggerated, dude, or all you really even have to do is selectively report things, and that's enough to be disinformation too.
And obviously, we all know about this whole. Nowadays that you can just spread disinformation or it doesn't have to be true. Fake thing can gain enough traction that once it's said, it's out there. And
I think that I treat that as a different thing though, Bob. Things that are sort of community generated or driven versus somebody using their
intentional fabrication or something.
Yeah, or I don't want to say, I don't know what the word is, but an actual institution publishing things that are disinformation or not well.
Yeah, but I mean, they kind of go hand.
Going on the internet and saying some stupid thing and other people saying it too.
No, dude, they go hand in hand because at a certain point, some quote unquote institution, some paper, something picks it up and they give it that sort of
air of legitimacy or whatever.
Right, even if it's a BS institution or paper or whatever.
Yeah, I guess so,
dude. Very little of that stuff isn't purposely made as disinformation. You know what I mean? Even the stuff that you think is comes from a community
that's
of people
or whatever
probably
come
isn't
from totally
a very
organic. Yeah, at least there's some organization behind it. But the thing is that the whatever. Well, I don't know where my moral stance on this anymore is, but if it's some shadowy secret organization that's kind of spreading disinformation versus even the New York Times reporting on Venezuela, I see that as different things, right? But I don't know, maybe they're not so much,
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, I guess it's degrees.
Because that institution is saying we are reporters, we're journalists, and we are putting our stamp of approval on this or whatever on this story, and
I don't know, man. I don't know where the real line is there, especially nowadays where information and journalism is kind of spread through different avenues that don't have necessarily
they don't have
institution behind it. But even back then it was kind of who would be able to disprove things like that if the New York Times said something that the CIA literally put out and made up.
But see, it's the other thing that's able to fight back against that, Bob, because the freedom of the internet and the allowance for this information to spread is what allows like these independent adversarial journalists to like counteract that.
Well, you would hope, dude. But literally, like, it's the same thing in both places, man. There's if there's like enough noise,
in both directions or whatever.
No, I mean, if there's enough noise being blasted, like the actual truth will get
buried or whatever.
Yeah, it'll get deafened.
Yeah.
And the fact is, back then there was only one, let's say, megaphone. And now there's like 50...
Many megaphones. But I think...
but what I'm saying is like, more likely than not, like, a lot of the stuff done on the internet, too, is, like, kind of an organized...
Probably a large, like...
way of, like, trying to distribute that kind of stuff. And then a big part of it was, like, the right wing we talked about last week. How they took advantage of this to, like, implant fake stories and things like that.
Sure, yeah.
Kind of like...
I mean, again, if we look at it... for obviously fake things other than, you know, like...
Like literally millions of people,
grandpa, man. Like in like rural South
millions
Dakota
of people, man. You know? Not even just grandpa. You know people. We know people that are successful, college educated, leaders in their community. People we know personally now in Los Angeles, California, who fall for that shit every single day.
Oh man, this got really depressing because I think you're totally right.
But anyway,
Barbara's always
because I was gonna say, you know, the noise won't drown out the truth because, you know, facetiously, like in the marketplace of ideas, like the truth will win out. But I think, you know, that's kind of I think it's kind of naive actually.
No, that's absolutely naive because people will create their own reality and truths, and it's much easier for those people to accept something that
makes them feel good,
or like makes them feel good, or just absolutely. Like it, like, you know, their thought pattern goes in a certain way, so this thing like confirms that they're thinking of things correctly, and, you know, just like what, and then what access are they going to have, or like what desire are they going to have to try to access information that's going to go against it, right?
Well, you know how hard it is to like actually psychologically like do that.
Yeah,
right?
Fuck, that makes me trip out.
But the thing that trips me out is that whole, like, you know, how Google is just basically making it, and it's just like everyone is just so much more in like this very specific space based on what they're interested in and what kind of things. I mean,
it makes me think, like, am I a victim to that as well? Like my own victim, sort of. Like, am I doing that to myself as well?
Well, yeah, in a sense, we all do.
Yeah. I think that's like a natural.
But I always try to
inescapable thing.
You always have to counteract what you believe, like, constantly, you know.
Yeah, and I don't want to like, I'm better than everyone, but I am.
Except for me, everyone.
Yeah, not me either. Yeah,
but I do literally like, I do literally look to and see what opposing ideologies say,
and they're stupid, right? No, I do too, I know, and it's like, no, this is obviously wrong.
But that's the thing I'm saying is, like, even if to just like shore up my thing, you get what I mean?
Yeah, I think
in the least, like, that's not even being open-minded. That's just being like kind of gamesmanship. Like you're doing yourself a favor at that point to see the enemy's strategy or whatever. You know?
I think the other thing that I've noticed when I've like ventured into those places too, and also to reinforce that I'm better than everyone here, is that
particularly our listeners.
A lot of times,
not here in this room.
A lot of times, what I like
here
notice
in your car,
in like those like, you know, like particularly the super libertarian or like very conservative like viewpoints, is like a lot of times I feel like not only are they not like right in a way, but like they kind of lack empathy. Do you ever get that? It's like,
of course.
You know, it's like, well, I understand like kind of like your belief system and what it's based on, but a central part of it is just like
fuck other people.
Yeah, it's just like lack of empathy.
Yeah, fuck
like,
anyone that's not me.
But it's like, if you're like that, dude, you probably haven't, like, I don't know, suffered in some like terrible way,
right? And you know,
you gotta see the suffering.
The funny thing is, those types of people might kind of be like, "Oh, you guys are just being like snowflakes or whatever." But honestly, no. It seems like a very specific naivete to think that you can just screw everyone over and the world will be fine. Kind of. Even if you're a psychopath, you gotta realize that fucking.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be a raging maniac constantly. You're not gonna be able to survive.
People are eventually gonna like understand what you're doing.
More people are gonna be against what you're doing than.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, I would say, even like what you were trying to say, that people that didn't go through some terrible thing in their life, I would say those people are just as susceptible
likely
to
be.
Yeah. I don't think that necessarily.
I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. Yeah,
I feel like they kind of are less susceptible, but not. You know, it's different for every person. But I'm just saying, in generally, they probably are less susceptible to that because they've seen more than one specific lifestyle or
sure.
You know what I mean?
Across the
they've experienced their, I don't know, poverty and not poverty and oppression and privilege, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's also easy for people like that to internalize some kind of like scapegoat in their head, that to demonize like a certain aspect of life.
Sure. Yeah, I
guess it could go any way. Like what influences are you under, you know, or who's around you? What are the people around you saying? Like, I guess if you're online reading these forums or whatever,
and no one's actually talking to you, or you're not actually talking to other people.
No, but again, I gotta say, like,
system.
sort of skepticism is built in people that have kind of gone through a lot of different. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of different is different than just like trauma, right? Because I think that's what you were initially saying, right?
In a way, like, I don't know, maybe that's too extreme, but like just even seeing it, just seeing the suffering of the world, and seeing people suffering, like, and understanding it, and
right.
But I feel like, again, like you kind of gotta also see the opposite of that, that there is a possibility of not suffering. I think that's where it creates kind of empathy, whereas I think what you were saying is a fair point, Naj, where if that's all you've ever seen, then you're way more likely to be like, yeah, somebody's fucking me over, and fuck those people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas opposed to there are some people who come from like pretty shitty places in the world, and they see some pretty normal places and that aren't as awful and horrible, and it's like, how is this possible that some people can live like this?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of difference in experience, that non-homogeneous experience, I feel like makes you more empathetic, probably.
Yeah. Can I like bring up a really brief point that's only barely a tangent?
No, please.
Like sometimes I read the Blind app. Do you guys know Blind?
Never heard of it.
It's basically people that work at these companies that are able to like talk anonymously, you know?
Okay.
But they're like
It's
tagged
like a
and it's
forum?
verified like where they work for. So a lot of it is used like for internal company, like sort of politics and stuff. People will talk.
Okay.
Like I guess the idea is that you can talk freely about these things, but there's certain portions of it that are totally public, and I read about it. And a lot of it is like tech companies.
Right, of course.
And maybe we'll lose some listeners here. But I like to read it, and I gotta say, like, based on Blind, and just reading it, and like there's I guess that like the conclusion I came to like is that the people that are like working there and like, you know, the brilliant minds of like these like great, you know, American companies or whatever, I don't think they're like particularly any smarter than anybody else, and I can tell from these forums. Like, you know, does that make sense?
Yeah, dude. Again,
and a lot of them are just total fucking assholes.
I gotta say, you kind of say that tangentially connected, but I think it's very connected. That I know a lot of people who haven't necessarily gone through the same, let's say, education or given the same opportunities, that kind of accept that those people that have gone through that are somehow just like naturally or otherwise quote unquote smarter. And I feel like in reality, like, not really, man.
Yeah, not really.
Like in general, like anyone is at that kind of has that mental capacity, man. Really. Like it sucks that people have that hang up, because I mean it's probably drilled into them. You probably told you're an idiot your whole life or whatever, you know.
Yeah, or the reverse, you know.
Right, or that you're super smart just because
you're such a super
have
brilliant kid, you know, like your tutors are always telling me how you're doing so
yeah,
well.
Exactly. Yeah. But
I
no,
love you, son. Please love me back.
Absolutely. I think that's an interesting thing.
Well, that's like a part of like the skill that allows a person to be super successful in kind of modern westernized society.
It helps
it's like,
being a psychopath.
Like not doubting yourself, that super confidence.
I am actually better than other people because I think about, you know, whatever things, and I've done my due diligence, and I work hard.
I won in the competition of the free market of ideas. right.
Yeah,
you did it.
Yeah. What was it? You know, there's like a lot of like recent like sort of turmoil, I guess, also at these like tech companies where like some people are like, hey, like the bro culture or whatever, and I didn't really know where to like land on it.
Oh yeah, you're super supportive of bro culture.
Yeah,
right?
but like something like reading those forums kind of makes me feel like, oh, I get it. Like these are the people that you work with, you know. And not to shit on all of them, because there's like people that are like reasonable in those forums, but it's really like kind of like a lot of that like libertarian non-empathic kind of like,
for sure. I'm sure
culture is just like really prevalent there. Or maybe it's a selection process where people who feel that way are more likely to post on Blind. Right, so it might be like a biased view of it.
Hey man,
either way, that's what I see.
I gotta say, in general, like just working with younger people who are actually like less educated than I am, just like actually, since I have degrees that I don't use and all that, yeah. And just talking to them in general, like, because we do live in this particular immigrant community, where I work, for example. There's a lot of Armenian kids, Latino kids, you know. And in general, it seems like the newer generation is just like a little bit more liberal and accepting, I guess. Like it makes me feel a little bit more
I think you mentioned optimistic. This to me before.
Yeah, we're like, I don't know, a kid, I feel like 10 years ago, he would, I don't know, like some person at work said something anti-Muslim, and like this kid that had like he's not particularly leftist or something, but like we don't have Muslim people working with us or anything, but like he was upset about it, and he let the guy know like that's not cool, you know. And whereas I would expect, I don't know, 10 20 years ago like an Armenian kid in that situation in Glendale, California, where we live, or whatever, like they would have been right on that guy's side.
Do you mean to say like particularly about immigrant communities, comparing it to when you were like around that age, or do you mean just in general population?
General population too, just like young dudes, let's say, more than anything. But our particular immigrant community here, but even like I said, not just Armenians, like even Latinos and stuff, like that anti-gay stuff like doesn't really exist anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Like makes sense. I'm not like, I don't work in the craziest, like, I don't know, it's not like a mechanic shop, like a very dude place to work or anything, you know? But,
yeah, maybe it still persists in those places.
I don't know, yeah, I don't know. But I do, just going back to one final thing about looking at like the opposing point of view, kind of getting that idea. I just got to point out, like at a certain point, like when I was learning things and getting political, like I was pretty far on the other side of the political spectrum that I am now.
Yeah, sure.
And at a lot of the stuff, like I was open to it. I was very open to like right wing, even libertarian things, and like reading and like. And I don't know, man, at a certain point, I felt like when I got a little older, like, the more I learned, the less it held water, the less those arguments seemed to make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. In a way, me too. Like, I gotta say that I was, like, kind of mildly into, like, Ayn Rand, and you remember this for a little bit, like, I don't know, like, late high school or something.
Yeah.
And eventually, objectivism and that libertarian point of view just sort of lost out in the marketplace of ideas, in my head. Like it just kind of lost. It was eventually other ideas were better than it, and
right,
ironically.
Interesting, because it's a free marketplace of ideas.
Because like Ayn Rand would say, oh yeah, like among all these ideas, this idea would win or whatever. It's stupid.
Yeah, the biggest Ayn Rand critic is Ayn Rand.
But you like, as you like pass out of high school and become kind of like more of an adult, you kind of see like how silly,
absolutely,
like all of that is. It's just, but you know what I think it really is. It is a way for like, I think like semi-privileged or people who are privileged and who have thought to feel good about themselves suddenly confronted by the idea that they shouldn't.
Yeah,
like it's really comforting to have something like Ayn Rand,
for sure,
and say, no, I should feel comfortable
it's
about
a moral
myself
justification
because
absolutely.
My privilege in life is due to me. It's
on top of which, like, you guys needed that. Like, society is already fucking sucking your dick 24/7 by giving you money. I don't know.
All right, let's start the questions.
Doom. Before we get into the game itself, I wanted to give a little correction from last time.
Yeah.
I talked about a certain county in the northwest of England. Do you remember this? Yeah. Remember the answer happened to be York, and I said Northumberland?
Yeah, I remember.
And I said Northumberland's in the northwest. I
don't think you said that.
I did.
Or did you?
I specifically thought Northumberland was the county of the northwest, and I was wrong. Northumberland is actually north of York, so it's in the northeast of England. What's in the northwest of England, and I think at a certain point was part of Scotland, and then the English pushed further north.
I don't really know what's up there.
So up there is Cumbria.
Oh, okay.
And it's not as populated of an area. And then just south of that is
West Midlands or something?
No. Just south of Cumbria is Lancashire.
I don't know. Yeah.
Lancaster. I'm sorry, Lancaster.
That's still north of Liverpool.
So yeah, that's where and I think because there's actually counties today, official counties in England, and then there's like the historic counties.
Okay, sure.
So I'm pretty sure that the family in the War of the Roses, the Lancastrians, that's where they come from, Lancaster.
Okay, yeah.
So in the historic county was actually where today Liverpool and Manchester
That was all Lancaster?
That's that area, you know. So that's just south of
Cumbria?
Cumbria. Or Cumberland was like the historic name, or vice versa. So that's on the northwest side. And that's more what I was thinking of.
But they both probably have names that derive from Humber or Umber, right?
Northumbria? Yeah, that's north of the Umber River, right?
And then Cumberland, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, Cumbria. Okay, that makes sense. So I think it's an east-west river.
Yeah.
Which most of the
maybe
English
it means
rivers
like head of the Umber or something. I don't know.
But anyway, the one in the northeast is the one we talked about last week, Northumbria, which is, and as we know, York was the answer.
It's too bad all our British listeners unsubscribed after you.
I know, I didn't want them to get angry about it.
Honestly, they would have probably thought this discussion is really like boring because it would have been like, did you know that Texas is like east of New Mexico? California is on the Pacific Ocean. No, I said Atlantic last time.
Yeah, do it in a British, dumb English accent.
Some chav.
I gotta do a British person doing an American accent.
Did you know that? I don't know. I can't.
Let's not go there.
I'm not even gonna try. Yeah.
We can do Liverpudlian. Paul, were you aware?
Just like remember any Beatles footage you saw.
New Mexico. that's not good either. But yeah, so that's that, and we've been criticizing the all of us together have been criticizing the British system of government. And if you guys heard this week, Boris Johnson called to suspend Parliament, and the Queen, his lackey, totally went through.
And I sort of get the argument. Season 3 is very political so far, but I kind of get the argument that people are like, oh, the Queen has to just like go by custom.
Well, she's not going to oppose it.
Yeah, she's not going to oppose it. And
because
it's like, all right,
I
understand. She wants to keep her head or whatever.
Yeah, maybe exactly. No, don't cut that out. That's literally why.
But then
because
also,
if she opposed it, the government...
it begs the question sort of like, okay, so what is the point of this then?
Yeah.
Like, why does this whole like layer exist then? You know?
People say it's like completely ceremonial, but I think realistically, in reality... It really is there as like a just in case, because if there were a government that did something that the ruling class of that country was really against, I think the Queen might actually say nope.
Actually go against customs?
Yeah.
There was something I read on Twitter and like completely unsourced. I don't understand.
Sorry, just finish that thought. Yeah. And like you were saying, if that were to happen, you'd probably be in a situation where there would be so much backlash that would mean the end of the monarchy.
Well, supposedly there was something like this where the Queen put pressure or like actually deposed or something, some like prime minister of Australia, like I don't know, in the 80s or 90s or something.
Yeah, because they do have to.
Because they're like, wait, you're actually left wing, so
right.
you can't be in government.
So yeah, technically they still have to kind of like with the British Parliament, Queen is the what is that
head
called?
Head of state or head of government?
No, she's the head of state. Yeah, so she still has to approve things in Canadian fucking Parliament too, right? Anyway,
let's just end this charade.
Seriously,
that's the goal of this podcast.
I'm down.
All right,
we're using all these British-centric trivia books.
Yeah,
well, because we stand with you, our fellow British.
But I got
people.
Their quiz culture is a lot stronger too. I would say.
I absolutely agree.
Quiz culture is better.
We love it.
They're just smarter than we are in
that
general.
Might be a part of it. Yeah. At least the Scottish people are.
Or the.
Jeez, way to spark controversy.
Discuss amongst yourselves, listeners.
Well, we were also talking about the whole tradition of panel shows and the Q.
Yeah.
Which we're partially. I feel like we're paying homage.
Yeah.
We're the quiz quarters. We're the QQ, and they're the Q. Anyway.
Double Q. Naju's shaking his head, but let's go to the quiz.
And welcome
Q
back
for Queen
to our program, regularly scheduled, irregularly scheduled.
Yeah, pretty irregularly scheduled.
We are continuing with this theme of categories for the season 3, and we are going to pick between. I think probably this one would be the most fair. history and politics.
Okay, sure, let's do it. I mean, we can go through all of them, even if one of them has advantage. Bob probably has an advantage.
Basically, sports is the one I have the most.
I'm gonna win at least one of these. Just whenever sports comes up.
History and politics over social sciences and religion.
I think Bob probably has an advantage in both of those.
Yeah. But if you guys remember, the last one was geography, which Meher and I are both really good at. But literally, there was one question.
They were very difficult, though. Yeah.
There was only one question
and you
that
guys
we both knew.
Loved it. You guys both loved the questions that you couldn't
know, it was
get.
There's an art to it. Like, the questions can be hard and good, or they can be hard and kind of bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I say it's less of an art and more of a science.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, history and politics.
So we're doing
Here we go.
8 questions or 10 questions? 8 questions? Okay.
8 questions. Just 1 point per question. People can steal.
Meher won last time by getting that one whopping
1-0. What is this, soccer? And of course, there are subcategories. So the overall category is history and politics. Season 3, episode 2. Okay, Meher won last week, 1-0, so he's going to go first.
1-0. That's for you British listeners. Oh, wow. Yeah, it was.
I actually said but...
Oh. So it's not for you guys.
The one guy's like, why is he talking about me so much?
Hey, man.
That's our second biggest audience. Yeah. We love the UK and...
Mm-hmm. Okay. Except the K part.
We love the U. We love unions in general.
Yeah. We just love you, listener. Okay. First subcategory is Ancient World. Question 1, Meher.
Okay.
It's my favorite world.
Which ruler fought King Porus of the Hindu Parava kingdom on the east bank of the Hydaspes, or parentheses, Jhelum River in 326 BC? There's a lot of shit there, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. So we're like in South Asia-ish, some Hindu ruler.
I feel like this is a Gibby question, but that's just
wow. Well, so I have no idea.
It really is Bobber's favorite world.
Bob might really crush me this round. But I'm gonna try to place somebody at around that time. -30.
That's kind of maybe a hint. Maybe
negative. How many BC?
300.
Minus 326 AD.
Maybe I'm not.
What minus 326 AD? That's just 326 BC.
Yeah.
Or BC.
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm gonna throw out a guess. I'll say Cyrus.
Cyrus is incorrect. It's which ruler fought. Sorry, you should have listened. Which ruler fought this dude?
No, dude, it's 300s. What ruler went all the way to India and fought them? It's Alexander the Great.
God damn it! I totally forgot that. That totally makes sense. Time frame too.
Is that right?
I was thinking maybe like Iran or China or Persia, I guess.
It is Alexander III of the Macedon.
3? Huh.
He didn't specify which Alexander.
I said the Great. There's one. All right.
It's Alexander Great. The Great / Alexander III of Macedon.
Okay. I really didn't know he was the third.
Yeah. All right, Bobber got it on
point
real quick.
I should have thought about that.
I know his dad is Philip, yeah.
When was Cyrus around? Was I off chronologically? I was just trying to think of somebody from Persia, basically.
Actually, I think Cyrus was before that because of the Peloponnesian War and all of that. Maybe like 100 years before that, like when they invaded Greece and.
Sure. Yeah.
But anyway, it was before that because Alexander actually conquered what used to be the biggest empire the world had ever seen, the Persian Empire. Yeah.
Ancient world. Question number 2, Bauer. Which empire in South Asia, 30 to 375, I assume those are years?
Yeah.
Was formed under Kujula Cadphises and had Bactrian for its official language?
Could you spell out the thing?
Kujula. That's fairly straightforward.
Kujula?
Yeah. Cadphises, which is Kadphises.
No, it's Greek.
Had Bactrian for its official language.
Okay, and the years were
30 to 375
AD.
It doesn't say BC, so I assume AD.
Assuming it's not going backwards in time.
Okay, I'm sorry, and the entire question was which empire?
Yeah, was formed under this dude.
Oh, that's I'm pretty sure it's the one Indian guy.
Oh, what was the category? Like South Asia?
Ancient world.
Ancient world.
Wait, there was something about South Asia in there, right?
Yeah, it was in South Asia.
Okay.
Yeah. Which empire in South Asia?
Whew.
I know what it is. It's God damn it, I just can't remember now. It's also the name of the guy from Civilization for India.
Gandhi.
No, there's a new guy. Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, not Gandhi. The other one.
a little bit before that.
So I think this is the most unified Indian empire, Indian state before the Raj, before the British came in, basically. Okay, now I have two ideas, but I think at this point in the AD time, there was an empire that starts with an M. Maha something. Which Maha comes from like...
Maher.
or the Proto-Indo-European, like, same root as major. Like the Maharaja, for example, was Major Raja.
Oh,
Raja
really?
comes from the same root as king in
probably,
most, yeah. God damn it. I don't think it's Ashoka because he was earlier and he was a Buddhist.
I know some of these words.
I can't remember the name now, and I don't want to drag it out. The Maja something, like, God, I can't remember it. Anyway, I'll just say Ashoka, but I don't think that's correct anyway.
That is incorrect.
Yeah, I have no idea. I remember Bactria. Wasn't that like more Central Asian though?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm remembering that wrong.
No, absolutely.
It was? Oh.
That's where Bactria is, yeah.
Yeah, so
Like
I was kind of
Bactrian
confused.
camel, like the
with,
desert lands.
Yeah.
But that's why I think it was like a tribe or peoples that came in and
Invaded that
unified.
area?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'll say the Hindu Empire.
Dude, I'm pretty sure it starts with an M-U.
Mahathustra.
No, like God, I can't
Mujahideen.
remember. What is it, Naj?
Oh, that's incorrect. The
What?
Kushan.
Oh, never mind.
The Kushan Empire.
Like
Kusham.
Kush?
Yeah, like Kush.
Hindu
A-N.
Kush.
Hindu Kush.
Which is
A-N.
like we're around Bactria and all that.
Oh, fuck. Because there's another Kush, right, in Africa, I think.
I don't think so.
Oh, never mind.
I mean, there's a Kush that I smoke, this and that. Potheads are the worst. All right.
Yeah, you're pretty terrible, Bob.
Okay, why did you give him 3 there?
Me. Huh?
That's just question 3.
Yeah, question 3.
Whoa, you just look...
Naju's using Roman numerals, by the way, Bob.
Yes.
No. These are tallies.
Oh,
That's
so
what Roman
we'll see when
numerals
we get to
started
4.
as.
Yeah. And then they were like, fuck, there's too many lines.
Yeah, what am I going to write 100 fucking eyes? All right.
Nextos.
World leaders. A new subcategory.
But
Go
I
on
just
to
looked
Maher.
at the question.
No, I did. I swear I didn't. I just looked at the Roman numerals.
Right, we'll
or
let the-
tallies. We'll see. Yeah,
We'll let the audience decide. Time will tell.
Question number 3, Maher. Which man who has served as Japanese Prime Minister from 1964 until 1972 shared the 1974 Nobel Peace Prize with Sean McBride?
Oh, Bob's totally going to get this.
No, I have no idea, dude. I don't know Japanese prime ministers' names, dude.
Sean McBride sounds like an R&B artist or something.
Really?
doesn't
Oh, I thought he was a snowboarder.
It could be a snowboarder, too. 70s. Was after World War II, you said, right? Like 60-something to 70-something?
So he was Prime Minister from 64 to 72, and in 74, he won Nobel Peace Prize with good
What
old
the
snowboarder Sean
What was the
McBride.
Japanese Prime Minister doing in 74 to win the Nobel Peace Prize?
What was
I don't
any
know, that's a
Japanese
good
Prime
question,
Minister
actually.
doing ever?
Well, they were fucking...
It's just that the Nobel
You
Peace
just said
Prize.
Jap.
I cut myself off. That was not a racial slur. It's just the first syllable of Japanese. Well, my original joke was that the Nobel Prize takes a long time to award somebody. So maybe it was for like the Russo-Japanese War or something.
Oh, dude, no. That happened. Like they awarded Teddy Roosevelt like immediately afterwards. But I'll tell you what Japanese prime ministers were doing. They were kowtowing to the military and their drive to conquer Asia.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So does that give me an answer? Can I submit that as my answer?
Yeah, do that.
I don't know. I'll say like I'll just say a Japanese sounding name. This is not meant to be racist. I'm just gonna pick a Japanese name.
Are you just gonna say
Jap again? Chinese? You're gonna say some Chinese shit right
here? No, that would not be funny. Our Japanese listeners would be happy with me. I'll say Honda.
Damn, you didn't have to go there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's Honda. I can't accept
it. It's
yeah, I really don't know the names of prime ministers. Tokumori.
Wait, was that wrong?
Yeah, that was wrong.
Fuck.
I was thinking of Kagawa or Tokumori. I'm pretty sure Kagawa is a place. I'll say Tokumori.
I mean, they're all the places are people's names.
Right, I'm pretty sure Kagawa was like.
Where do I know Kagawa from?
Yeah, I'll say Tokumori.
Should have gone with Tokugawa, because that's both not correct either.
But it would have been a better answer.
Yeah,
better wrong answer.
Tokugawa, huh?
Yeah.
That's like both of them combined.
It's just a more common name.
Oh.
Eisaku
Yamamoto.
Sato.
That's also an Armenian-like name.
Sato?
Yeah, it's short for Satanik.
Oh, yes. The Satanik is short for something else.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, it's a double shorten?
I guess so.
All right, 2-0, Maher. I mean, Babur.
No, it's not 2-0, it's 1-0.
It's 2-0.
No.
Yeah, I just got that last one.
Yeah.
Wait, he got the Japanese one?
No.
He only.
He only got
Alexander.
One. Yeah, that's right.
Sorry.
My bad.
Sorry.
My bad.
I was tricking Naju. So I wonder why this person, this prime minister, is particularly important
I wonder what he
to
did,
be in
yeah.
this. We'll find out next week.
Maybe it was. When was this? He got an award in '74.
Yeah, I wonder what the Nobel Peace Prize was for.
Well, they got to give one out every year. Sometimes there's not a lot going on.
Dude, I'm sure.
I mean, Obama.
There's not a lot of peace going on, so
yeah,
it's hard.
It was the '70s. Things were popping, yo.
Yeah.
All right. Question 4. 1-0. Babur's lead.
So what is the subcategory?
World leaders.
Oh.
Which man became the first prime minister of Singapore in 1959?
Dude.
Serving in that post for over 31 years.
No, there's no way I'm going to get this.
Yeah.
I did see a really awesome 2-hour documentary on Singapore, like a series, and it was dope.
They didn't really mention the prime minister?
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was 31 years. He was the first one.
Let's say his name is Livingston.
So you're going with like an English name?
Yeah. It's probably like an Asian name, but...
That is incorrect.
Some Malay or... There's a lot of Han Chinese
Malay and stuff. Yeah, I was gonna probably say a Chinese name because
honestly,
I think at that time I don't know what Malay names sound like. So.
But I think that's as far as I like, that was more of a recent, or there were like an immigrant population to Singapore.
The Chinese were.
Yeah, because it was more of a Malay.
Is it too recent? What was the time?
But frame? I could be wrong.
70s?
Yeah, in 59.
Oh, 59 for 20 years?
For 31 years.
And that's the prime minister, dude.
It's
like it was a pretty big established city by then. They just probably didn't have a prime minister.
Yeah. Maybe an English name is better.
No, because I'm thinking it would have been an English name, like the governor would have been an English person. So I'm thinking you're probably more right.
That what? It would be a Chinese named person?
Or an Asian name. Malay.
What do Malay names sound like?
Sukarto? No,
we're about to get real racist. We're about to get real racist.
Is Indonesia related to Malaysia?
It's close to it.
I think so, yeah.
We need to know more about this region. It's like so many people live there.
No, Malaysia is like super Muslim though, aren't they?
So is Indonesia.
Oh, fuck.
Indonesia is the most populous Muslim country in the world. It doesn't have the most Muslims, but it's like the most populous majority Muslim.
Like percentage-wise?
Like it's like a Muslim country. It's
okay.
majority Muslim. I don't know.
All right, whatever.
So yeah,
so I'm just gonna say, I don't know, Sharif.
No, dude, that's super Arabic.
Yeah, you're not gonna get this.
Living
Kuan Yew.
Oh,
That sounds pretty Chinese to me. Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
say Jap again.
Did you guys just hear what Bob said?
I was quoting you, bro.
No, he wasn't.
All right. 1-0. Question number 5.
Yeah.
5.
Fuck, I gotta get on the board
We
here.
are 5. British post-war politics. Bobber's favorite.
Everything's
Just
been
like
my
the
favorite
end.
so far.
All these questions are really fucking hard.
For 1 point, because all the questions are for 1 point. Maher.
Thanks for reminding us.
Which future prime minister was appointed president of the Board of Trade in 1947, aged just 31?
47, 31.
See, this is something where I'd
Oh,
expect
fuck.
like British people to know this.
Yeah, I don't know. Margaret Thatcher.
Incorrect.
Yeah, they're not gonna let women do that back then, dude.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. But they let him be queen, though.
Yeah,
Boy, what, are they going to make a man queen?
Yeah. Good point. I should have said they let him be head of state.
Maybe nowadays they would let a man be queen. Political correctness gone awry.
That's the earliest prime minister I probably knew at that point. Wait, you said 57.
Well, you know, like
Yeah,
when
who was between Churchill and Thatcher? Like, I don't fucking know.
yeah, a bunch of people that I don't know either, but it could be someone after, but it's not going to be because everyone after was
It'd
born
be
like
super
right
old.
at that time. Like Tony Blair, I'm sure is like a baby.
It was
boomer.
like not even born
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, I really have no idea.
Just go with the solid Benjamin Disraeli, Bob.
Yeah, but he was like in the 19th century.
He was like dead already for several decades.
Okay, let's say Livingston.
Solid English name.
Harold Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson.
Yeah. Dude, Harry and Harold are such a more common name in England than they are in America, though. Have you noticed?
Henry.
No, Harry.
All right.
But Harry is short for Henry, too.
No, it's short for Harold, though, isn't it? Oh,
It's also short for Henry.
But Henry's pretty short already.
Well, tell the British
You
that.
shorten it by making it the same amount of syllables.
Harry.
I guess Harold is already 2 syllables, too. I don't fucking know. People do with their names what they will.
Question 6. Sexy 6. Bobber. Which district of East London gives its name to the 1981 declaration by the, quote, Gang of Four, which led to the formation of the Social Democratic Party?
Is it East?
East London.
Damn, that's
District in East London.
What was the date?
1981.
That's a messed up area, huh?
Jack Ripper Square.
Gang of Four.
I don't know, dude. I don't know the districts of London. I know the West End is like the posh, fancy end. Just like in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I guess so. Except that, yeah.
Except what?
It's reversed in relation to the ocean. In a weird way. But I guess London doesn't really have a coast. It has like the river coast.
I feel like Meher might have an answer for this. I'll just go with Chelsea.
Chelsea, incorrect.
It's really far west, I think. Right? I don't know.
It's like the fancy.
Kensington. No, that's not my guess. That's like right next to Chelsea. I don't know.
Hereford.
I feel like I vaguely had an answer in my head, like a total guess, but then I forgot while we were talking.
Cheshire.
Eastern District of London. Yeah, maybe like Jack the Ripper Square. Maybe that's
I don't
the
think they
district.
officially named a place after him.
I don't know. I think like the Tower of London is kind of east-ish, probably not very much, but I'll just say like Tower or District Tower.
Yeah, I don't think...
Tower, District, Tower. It's 3 words.
I feel like it's going to be something we've heard of.
Limehouse.
Okay, absolutely not.
No, yeah. I guess that's where the limes grew.
Yeah,
or
I don't
the
think
lime.
so.
No, it's just the house where they stored them, idiot.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, I'm pretty sure it has more
They
to
grew
do
west of London.
with like lime, the
With a Y? Or the disease?
material.
Oh, okay.
Lyme disease. Okay. Still using your tick system, I see.
This is the last subcategory. Closing in on the final. It might be
that
1-0
means I have
again.
to score here. God
It
damn
might be
All right.
1-0.
Or in the next
here.
one.
90th minute. For
You
Question
score in the next
7.
one too,
English
man.
listeners.
Question 7.
Oh, yeah, I could. Yeah.
The subcategory is battles and war.
Okay. Bob's favorite again.
Yeah.
I guess there's world leaders, my least favorite.
Okay, Imgur. Beau Sabreur, quote unquote, or also known as handsome swordsman, in parentheses.
Beau Swabua, like.
Sabreur.
You're going to have to spell that for me, but finish the question.
Was
handsome swordsman. It's French.
was first a. I don't know what this is.
Or like
Sobriquet?
saber, but with the U.
Yeah.
Sobriquet? Sobriquet?
Sobriquet?
Sobriquet?
Okay.
I don't know. Was first a sobriquet for which French cavalry officer and brother-in-law of Napoleon I? Sabreur is
Jesus Christ.
Sabreur.
Brother-in-law of Napoleon the First. I have no idea.
First a sobriquet. It's some kind of cavalry.
I don't think it's a French name.
Yeah.
Who was around that time? I don't really know a ton of people. His wife's name was, I would remember if I thought about it long enough, but not that I know her brother. So I don't know if that would help.
Is it brother-in-law?
Brother-in-law. I guess it could be his
Yep.
His sister's husband as well. Can you read the whole question again? Just pronounce it the best you can.
Yeah. Beau Sabreur is, in quotes, also handsome swordsman.
It's just French for handsome swordsman.
Was first a sobriquet for which French cavalry officer and brother-in-law of Napoleon I?
Cavalry officer, that might be a hint. Man, these questions are really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You think it was Jules?
Jules Verne?
Jules.
Jules Verne?
No, just the first name, Jules.
Jules from Jules and Jim. I don't know. Maybe it was somebody that was a handsome swordsman. I don't fucking know, man. Maybe it was Robespierre. So I'll say Robespierre.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Yeah, Robespierre was definitely not Napoleon's brother-in-law.
Yeah, well, I
Sorry.
only know like 5 French people who are alive within that like 50-year span, so.
No, yeah, I'm sure you know more, actually. But,
Other than like people who painted, you know?
Gracchus Babeuf. I have no idea. I'm going to say it's like some legendary figure,
Like a grand swordsman.
yes.
Handsome, my
A
bad.
handsome swordsman. Like, officer, handsome swordsman,
Officier.
Don Juan. That's
What?
it.
Don Juan?
Juan.
Jean?
Don Jean?
Don
Don
Jean.
Juan.
Don Jean?
Don Juan. You know the British call it that. Don Juan.
Joachim Murat.
Marat.
Murat.
M-A-R-A-T?
M-U-A-R-A-T.
M-U-A-R.
Hey, Marat.
M-U-R-A-T.
Oh.
Murat.
Never heard of
Marat.
King of Naples, the Dandy King.
Oh, shit.
From 1808
Fucked
to
up
1850.
nickname.
And
Yeah.
husband to Caroline Bonaparte.
Caroline. Was that his wife's name? That sounds
Caroline.
His sister. His sister.
Okay,
was
so yeah,
brother-in-law.
you know,
Oh, it was his sister's.
you know Napoleon,
what was his wife's name, Bob?
God, I don't remember.
Jacqueline or Madeline?
Jacqueline. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you know he installed like his siblings as like monarchs in different places, like in Spain.
Oh, I didn't. I mean, I only know about his nephew,
The
but he
The
made his
second
own way in
Napoleon?
life. It's not like he was born with a bunch of privilege.
his
or anything.
nephew Louis Bonaparte.
The third. Yeah.
Because Marx had a famous book.
Oh, Marx was probably alive at that same time. He was probably even in Paris at that same time, right?
Yeah. He had a book called what was it called? It was...
Boumbrier...
Yeah,
Set or something like that.
It was exactly the season, whatever month it was from the calendar of Louis Bonaparte. We'll revisit that next week.
Yep.
Okay. Last question.
Cue. Okay.
Unless Maher gets it.
I need like a stoppage time goal.
Question 8, Bob, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Which French king's army was defeated mainly due to English and Welsh archers at the 1346 Battle of Crécy?
Oh.
Crécy. Battle of Crécy.
What was the year?
1346.
Okay, 1346. That's gonna be
some shit I don't know about.
1346. That's a pretty long time ago. It's the 100 Years' War, definitely. 13th Brumaire of Louis Napoleon. That's what I was thinking of. I don't know. I'm gonna say Charles the VIII.
I was thinking one of the Charleses, but I don't know the numbers at all.
Charles the VIII.
Charles the VIII is incorrect.
Can I say like the common nickname?
I don't know what that is because it's not written. So
Shaz.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say like Charles the Bald or Charles the Fat or one of those. What did you say? 8th?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were like at 14 Charles by then.
There's been a lot of Charleses. No, maybe it wasn't Charles, just by Naju's reaction.
What?
On Louis the VIII.
Maybe it was one of the Lewises.
It could have been a Louis, but we already know when Louis the 16th and 14th were.
I'll say Charles the Bald. Charles the 9th.
Damn, just one-upping him.
I don't know. No, I don't know which one was fat or bald, but they had some funny nicknames around that,
Yeah.
I think.
Philip the Sixth.
Oh, Philip was good.
Of course.
Hey, so maybe these are too hard.
Yeah, these are pretty hard, man.
I feel like the audience fucking stopped listening way long ago.
Yeah, if any of you guys are still listening, thank you.
Yeah. We're gonna do
GG,
some
Bob?
GG, man.
category revising.
Season 3 is all about testing things out, trying new things.
It's all about the 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, we still had like good discussions about stuff. They're just like you have to be like an expert in these categories.
It's too
man.
political.
Yeah, too much politics in these questions.
Louis Philippe.
Louis Philippe. Charles.
More questions where
Charles
Alexander is the answer. Less
Yeah, dude,
where...
I feel like there was a... Well, I thought that was kind of a gimme, but I guess my hair wasn't thinking of it.
Yeah. In retrospect, it was probably the easiest one.
Yeah, 4th
Well, it was
fourth
the
century
only
BC.
one either of you got right was the easiest one.
Yeah. Like, it's the only one where like I recognized the answer.
Also, if I grew up in if I grew up and was educated in the UK and I didn't get that prime minister one, like I feel like we would have definitely gotten that.
I guess so. It might have been like a Jimmy Carter or Gerald Ford kind
God,
of
what
answer.
was his name? See, you already forgot.
Are you asking?
No,
God?
we talked about Harold Wilson.
Nice, you didn't forget.
Yep. I will always remember. Never
So what was
forget
the
Harold
Japanese
Wilson.
prime minister's name?
I was talking over that part, so I don't remember. It wasn't Honda and it wasn't Tokimure.
It was E Honda.
It was Sato, something Sato.
Oh, yeah,
Eddie.
Sato.
It was
Eddie
Sato.
something, Sato.
That's
Sato
right.
John.
How about
Savatana
Kujula
Sato.
Kujula Codfeces?
Yeah, I mean that was kind of insane.
Codfeces. Anyway, thanks for tuning in again. We'll definitely work on the questions.
Yeah, maybe make it a little more entertaining, but maybe people like hard questions.
No,
They're really
I think
smart,
people are asking for less entertaining.
Yeah, for those that want less entertaining,
I think
listen
easier,
to the previous
easier.
episode.
Harder questions from here is not a good idea.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, gotta sign off.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Love you.